What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 62 of the Lured Up podcast, where we take Pokemon Go way more seriously than we do ourselves. Today is Sunday, January 20th, 2019. I'm your host, Ken Pescator, joined not only by my co-hosts Adam Tuttle and Melissa Pescator today, but also special guest Chris from the GoCast podcast. All three of you, how the hell are you? What's going on?
Oh,
welcome,
hello.
welcome.
Doing
Chris,
excellent.
we're so excited to have you, man.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Beyond happy.
Dude, so I'm a total podcast nerd. I listen to about 25 to 30 hours of podcasts a week.
Hello now.
And I've been having a fantastic freaking time listening to the GoCast, man. It's awesome. I think you guys are doing the good stuff over there. So I'm really excited to have you on and maybe hit some new ears. Yeah, it's awesome.
This is exciting.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. And I've told you before, Ken, that I'm a huge fan of your guys' show as well. So
That's awesome.
I mean, it's nice that we listen to each other's shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
No, the podcast community is awesome. The Pokemon Go podcast community. Everyone's kind of super chill and supportive, and that's the best way to do it. So it's awesome.
We all
Glad
want
to
the
have
same
you on.
thing.
Fucking shinies.
All good vibes.
Fucking shinies.
Exactly. That's right.
well, 100%s or Delibirds or
Right. Yeah. You want
is what it
Delibirds in July. That's all Adam wants is Delibirds in July.
Christmas in July.
We all want to catch them all, right?
All right, a little bit of
We got it.
housekeeping
We
real
all
quick.
wanna catch
This
'em
podcast is
all.
powered by Patreon. Please check ours out over at patreon.com/gottawatchemall, where you can support this show for as little as $1 a month. And that $1 will get you access to our patron exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. And I want to give a huge shout out to our show supporter tier patrons, Brittany, Jay, Jessica Keith, Matt, M. Pitts, Terry, David, Chris, Sydney, and Bacon L. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
It
But let's
sure
make it so
is.
Ken gets out of breath the next time he has to
I'm
say
telling you, I'm not going to be happy till I'm like the Micro Machines guy. Remember that dude that would go real fast, like read real fast? Like I'd have to squeeze it all into this like little 20-second package or something.
You
But
guys are the best.
You can do it.
But thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate your support. All right. Before we get into today's show, Chris, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself. Let me know your history with Pokemon, your team, your level, how you play, where you're from, all that good stuff, and then tell us about the GoCast.
All right. What's up? My name's Chris, host of the GoCast podcast, along with my wife and a mutual friend of ours. Very similar to the chemical makeup of this show here, which is fantastic, super relatable for us. But as far as Pokemon goes, I've been playing since I've been, a wee lad. Red and Blue as it came out. Every single generation I bought and played. Big fan. Used to collect the cards as a kid. I'm from the Chicago area, so playing out here is cold. Cold as hell right now.
Yeah, totally.
My God. Yeah, it was. But I'm level 40. Team Valor.
Yes.
What team are
I'm
you guys?
Valor. Adam is Instinct, and
Instinct.
Melissa is Mystic. So we've got the
Wow.
trifecta here. So yeah, we all have the little bit of everything on this side of the.
Best of all worlds.
But that's awesome.
awesome.
And tell me about the podcast. So when did you start, and what kind of motivated you to start something?
All right, so a little bit of other background about GoCast and then podcasting prior to this. I used to do podcasting like 8 years ago for the League of Legends scene, which if you were thinking about it, I would recommend not doing that. The Pokemon Go community is so fantastic. We were talking about the podcast community, but the community in general is fantastic. Like toxicity, as far as gaming community goes for Pokemon Go, super low. And how could you not just love that? At League of Legends, any other sort of PC game, not necessarily the case. We were hanging out and stuff like that, playing a lot of Pokemon Go. My wife and I were getting into it like really hardcore this past year around June, even though we played in 2016 when it first came out. We kind of fell off like a lot of people did. We picked it back up. We went to Go Fest. We met a lot of really great people, including you guys. Melissa, I think if you showed up to the Reap-Up late, I think I missed you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started, I think, the week right before. We showed up to the Reap-Up at Go Fest with only episode 1 out. And
Yes, I remember listening to it either that night or before that, right when we got in.
Yeah,
it was
so
cool.
it was really cool. You guys were super supportive. I remember Adam like pulled me aside. He's like, dude, I really like what you guys have going on. I like your music. And you gave me this one tip and you were like, put a little bit of something at the beginning and make it a hook. and then that'll make your intro a lot better. And I've been doing that ever since you told me.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
So I hope
Well, I
you
noticed immediately. It's like, yes.
So yeah, it was really great. We just recorded episode 30 last night. I'm about halfway through editing it as we speak. And I'm just happy as hell to be here. So yeah, thanks again for having me on.
That's awesome. All right, on today's show, we are about to start week 2 of the Hoenn Celebration. I want to get everyone's feedback on that so far. We had the Feebas Limited Research Day, which was weird, sort of. I want to break that down and talk about that because the internet is fucking salty as shit about this event. And John Hanke was interviewed by CNBC regarding their round of $245 million worth of funding that they just went through, and some pretty cool stuff kind of peeked out of the interview that they did. It was like a 3 or 4 minute interview, but we got some good data. This is a contentious topic, multi-accounting. Now, we've talked about this before. I remember when we had like different guests on, they'll say like, oh yeah, there's groups of people that'll take down the whole gym by themselves and this and that and all that stuff. So I'm watching a Zoe Two Dots video, and she brings something up and puts a little perspective and spin on the multi-accounting thing that I want to talk about and get everyone's take on that. So that'll be a good one. Dragon types are invading the meta. We have to start getting prepared for different types. If you want to be competitive in PvP, understanding the place of each type in the meta is going to be super important. So as we break down individual typings, you can kind of see who the standouts are in each league. So we'll review all that. And then finally, we'll get into a Shiftry, raid guide, and battle party. Shiftry being one of the new tier 4 raid bosses that if you are a core player, you could probably solo this thing. So we'll talk about that. All right, Hoenn Celebration. Guys, give me your feedback. We're now about a week or so in. They made the announcement right after we recorded last week. And we've got Gen 3 spawns everywhere. We've got new research, new raid bosses. How's this event going for you? What do you think about the spawn rates and everything that's going on in general? Just give me some basic feedback. Chris, what do you think of this event so far?
You know, Hoenn is a great region in general. I think Generation 3, I'm a Johto guy myself. Generation 2 is my favorite generation. But Generation 3 kind of takes a close second. Really great Pokemon. They're fun, they're interesting, they're really great now that they're kind of coming up in the PvP meta. Some of them are trying to pop up a little bit. The spawn rates are fantastic. I like what I'm seeing outside and stuff like that. These raid bosses are fantastic. It's about time we got Groudon. I'm a little bit upset that Groudon hasn't had time to sort of shine on his own for a while. We had Kyogre over the summer for Water Celebration.
Right.
Groudon needs a little bit more time in the limelight. Shout out to his shiny color.
Yes.
And I think we're going to kind of talk about the 7K egg pool, right? Because yikes.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that they, when they brought this event in, we started to see a shift in the egg pool. But typically when you get an Alolan Pokemon recently, you're like, that's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to 7K. But apparently the egg pool has just been blown up, not just with 7Ks, but with everything. So the egg pool is absolutely massive now. So we will talk about that in a little bit of detail, but it's what's come to 7Ks has kind of changed your expectation of what you look for in eggs. So I know for me, I was always a 10K person. I want the 10K egg. Now they've moved Riolu to 7K. They've got some different Pokemon that are a little bit more tempting in the 7K pool. I just think there's too many Pokemon. It's too diluted that if you're trying to get like a Mantike or a Munchlax right now, it's just buried by so many other Pokemon that it almost makes focused egg hatching impossible because there's just too big of a pool. What do you guys think?
I agree 100%.
Too much, right?
Because I just hatched like an Abra, and I'm like, what?
Exactly.
I will say with the shakeup, I guess I did hatch a shiny Nidoran female. But I mean, it was 100%, so I can't complain.
That's incredible.
God damn it.
That's awesome.
Adam, I hate you so much.
I know we were talking about it on the Gotta Watch
Such
Them
a
All
bitch.
podcast, but you were saying, Ken, that's like the holy grail.
Well, I mean, you're getting the shiny, and then you know what I mean, like 100%. It's just stupid.
It's a statistical anomaly.
Evil.
Yes.
And
yes.
we need to study you and your
Yeah,
biological makeup.
The game was up in my pocket. I just happened to pull it out and see the egg. Like, I pulled it out and the egg was up and it just started hatching. And I like threw it because I was at the register at work and I'm like, okay, I can't be on my phone. And then I saw it and I was like, oh man, I need to screenshot that. And then I had to look back in the journal to be like, okay, I actually hatched this, and it's actually 100%.
You see, but still, we're still talking about a Nidoran. This is from a 2K, right? So I mean, there's just so many Pokemon. Like I enjoyed the Hatchathon because it had a little bit more of a scoped funnel, where it's like, I need the Mantike, I need the Munchlax, I need the Chingling. I can go after 7Ks, and I don't have to worry about too much other bullshit clogging it up. I can really go after those, but I don't know. It just seems like there's too many Pokemon now, and it's too diluted, and it takes the strategy out of it of being able to grind eggs, because now you're just getting so much crap. I guess over time we'll see what the drop rates are. I remember when the Alolans first came out, and it was like, all right, it's 12%, this and that, but I don't know exactly what the rates are now, but I'd imagine that something like Mantike probably has the smallest piece of the pie.
Yeah, I hatched a Chingling.
Did you?
And I was like, cool. I didn't even see the animation. I didn't get the registered to the deck screen just because it hatched in the background when I wasn't there.
Well, Melissa, you had a good hatch.
I did. I got a shiny Magby.
Yes.
You got a shiny Magby?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I was
awesome.
very happy about that.
Yeah, she didn't even tell me first. She puts it in the
I had
Discord.
to rub my eyes. I was like, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Wait a second.
Yeah, she's like, it's not often that I see like a notification from Discord from Melissa, so I see it and it's like, oh shit, like she's either yelling at somebody or something great happened. And then I open it up, I'm like, she fucking hatched the shiny Magby. And then I forget who it was in the Discord post below. It said, please tell me this is the way you told Ken, like in the public Discord. I was like, yeah, exactly, that is the way she told me. God damn it. But no, shiny Magby's a good one. That's a rare one. Those shiny babies
I was very excited,
are super
especially
rare.
because I always get played on my eggs.
And Chris, you were saying how like Groudon has his own time to shine, and does the community by you kind of get disappointed when they see the Kyogre now?
I mean, personally, I did, because I got my shiny during the summer festival, so I was like,
yes,
whatever.
as did I.
I'm good. I think a lot of us did, but it's still worth going for because Kyogre is just
a beast.
He is. He's an absolute monster. DPS, tank, everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, am I as excited about him as for Groudon? No, but yeah, I could be convinced to do a Kyogre raid,
Yeah, and it's like if I'm out, I'm going to do one.
I did a bunch of raids this week, and I saw like a lot of people in Discord, they'll put like, yeah, I'm interested for Groudon. And then if like, it'll post up and someone will put Kyogre, and then it's like, exclamation mark, cancel.
Yeah,
like,
it's just dead.
Yeah, it's like, I'm good. Yeah. But I think, like, we were just talking about this on the show that we recorded yesterday, and I think the biggest issue with this, that's like, why do I dislike this now? I didn't dislike 7K eggs as much before, especially when they first came out, until I got every Alolan, and then it was like, okay, I'm done with these for now.
Right.
But each of these egg pools used to have a purpose. They used to have an identity. And you would hatch 10Ks if you wanted rarer ones because you're putting in more work and that's what you're getting. And the pool was so small that you were like, okay, I'm going to get one of these, 7 or whatever. But in 7K eggs, not only is it just Alolans now, but it's also babies. Some of these rare Generation 4 stuff like Riolu and Munchlax and Chingling, and you're like, okay, whatever. And then weird things like Nincada, Mawile, and Absol.
Right.
It's just so strange. There's 28 Pokemon in the pool for 7K and 42 for 5K. 5K, in my opinion, is kind of a train wreck right now.
That's crazy.
I was saying that during the Hatchathon.
That's insanity.
Like when I forget to like accept a gift and I spin a stop and I see a 5K drop in there, I'm like, ah!
It is the worst feeling.
It's the absolute worst. I hate that.
Or like one will hatch in the background. You don't even you don't even get to see because you're in the middle of playing the game. That like you go to the stop, you hit it, and you're like, I didn't even know I hatched an egg. And then you go in and look in the egg, and it's like, oh, I just hatched a 5K, and it's worse than I imagined. It's a Zubat.
Yes. Oh yeah, exactly. They had the Grass Knot Breloom thing. If you evolved a Breloom during this window, it will learn Grass Knot. Now, Grass Knot is a fantastic move from a DPS perspective. It actually puts Breloom at the top of the DPS rankings when it comes to grass attackers. Unfortunately, though, the TDO, because Breloom doesn't necessarily have the legs of, someone with a little bit more tankiness like Venusaur or Roserade, it will fall behind in the overall picture, but it does get its little tiny moment to shine because it is at the top of the DPS chart. It just doesn't have a lot of life to it.
How many have you evolved?
Just one
so far.
Just one. It's just like one?
I just
I know towards the end of the event I probably will, but I'm catching so many Shroomish. I'm kind of holding out for some good ones, but then I'm thinking this is just going to be trade fodder. Like, these will be good to trade down the road if people didn't evolve a Shroomish.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even freaking matter if they're good or not, because their IVs are going to get re-rolled anyway. So, I'll probably evolve a couple during the end of the event, but, because just every time I catch Shroomish, I'm using a Pineapple, so I'm just building up a pool of candy so I can evolve all these things at the end of the event. But that was the thing. Shiny Zigzagoon and Taillow. They announced those. A lot of people in my community have caught these. I have not caught one myself, but I've seen a lot of people post them.
Yeah.
They are some...
You got one?
Yeah, I got a shiny Taillow, like my 5th Taillow since the event started. I've since clicked on 1 million and I haven't seen one again. So I mean, I feel your pain all the same. But it's a cool one. It's like
it looks neat. It looks neat.
He's pretty.
And
rad.
the Swellow looks cool too.
Yeah.
It looks nice in flight. And the Zigzagoon really stands out too. It has like a bright orange kind of look to it. So that looks really neat.
But it's Zigzagoon.
It's got Z's in his name. That's awesome.
I know.
Zigzagoon. It's got goon in his name.
That's goon too.
Come on. Yeah.
It's like Zangoose, but
and then finally they had the Team Aqua, Team Magma avatar items, which are pretty badass actually. Like I always say, every time they come out with new avatar shit, I'm holding down the Team Rocket stuff. So I'm sure I'll be rocking that for a while.
I'm holding down the Delibird stuff till they get rid of it from the game. Or they give me a new Delibird set so I can
dude, it's
purchase
summer.
next
You're
year.
wearing fucking earmuffs. It's like, doesn't matter.
He doesn't care.
It's more Delibird. I'm upset that I had to change it, but I changed it for the 1K to complete the task.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. You know what? Let's talk about that. All right. Feebas Limited Research Day. All right. Full stop. Look.
It was a blast.
Anytime they do an event on a Saturday, you guys know I work every Saturday. I can never escape. Anytime there's something on a Saturday, it sucks for me. So I was only able to get 6 quests. That's it. I went out, I grabbed 3, I completed those in that 3-hour window, ran right out before the window ended, got another 3. That was it. I actually still have a hatch and egg sitting there that I haven't done yet. So there's a chance I still could get a shiny Feebas, but we'll see. But
so you didn't get any from your other 6?
No,
you're saying?
But I did not get any from the so and I'm just sitting at work and I'm refreshing Reddit and I'm watching Twitter. And I see all the European people, like, immediately, like, an hour into the event, it was just, like, a wave of, like, everyone just going, like, what the fuck? Like, at the same time, I heard it from Europe just come over the ocean all in one shot. Because it seems that they actually had changed the drop rate of shiny Feebas for the Americas because we got it later than Europe. So apparently in Europe, it was even lower rate, so people were getting more pissed. But this is how the event went down. So there was 4 research quests that you can get that would lead to a Feebas encounter, which could be shiny. Now, during Community Day, you get the quick, catch 3 of this, and you get to turn that quest over really fast. But these research tasks were much longer. Earn a buddy candy. So even if you go to a 1K, you still got to walk 1K to clear that, right? Hatch an egg. The lowest that's going to be is that you're going to put a 2K in a super incubator. That's like, sacrilege. But you could if you wanted to turn it over quick.
I mean, I did it.
I did it too.
I know, dude. The amount of times I've done that. I know.
This event brought out the worst in people, man.
And then they have to make 10 great throws and make 15 nice throws. So you had to do a lot of catching. Now, this is the weird part. You would only get your one encounter, your one task from a stop. So you had to keep moving. When you keep moving, you're not sitting at a spawn point. You're not sitting at a lure. You don't have Pokemon to catch because you're just trying to get from stop to stop to stop.
Yeah, I wanted to drop a lure every single stop I was at, but I couldn't. I was like,
You've got things like the eggs and buddy distance and all this telling you to move from place to place, but then you have quests that you have to throw 15 nice throws where you're going to need 15 spawns. So that kind of decision about what they were going to do for the tasks themselves, people were not happy with, and rightfully so. For me, I wasn't turning over quests a lot, so I didn't feel the burn of that, but I definitely can feel why people would be upset about that. All right, so that was the first thing.
Did it feel like spawn rates were lower in general during the time?
I don't think they were lower. I think they were about normal.
I didn't really notice if they were or weren't.
I don't know, because I just remember sitting at a point where there's normally like 6 or 7, and there would be like 1 or 2. And I'm like, I need to catch 4 more Pokemon, and they're normally right here, and I couldn't.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
Maybe it's just me.
You had to catch Pokemon. you had to catch them, and it was like
exactly
you end up waiting and waiting and waiting for spawns. It's like that was a whole thing. The shinies were not linked to the Pokestop like they were for Squirtle Community Day. Now, we talked about this last week, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that it did. I know, Adam, you felt differently. You felt that it was cool because that can be a conduit to communication in the community and people calling things out. But from my perspective, I'm like, but that takes away from the allure of going fishing. You know what I mean? Like, in this is like in Feebas in the main series is one of the hardest Pokemon to catch. You know what I mean? Like, you had to be in a specific spot, a specific time, a specific place. There was a randomizer effect for how this thing spawned. And I think that they played to that a little bit by changing it from Community Day Squirtle. So I didn't really mind that. But again, I wasn't fucking out there on the foot as a foot soldier. So I'm not feeling the burn of it being like, 2 hours and 45 minutes into the event with no shiny. And I'm starting to lose my shit, because that would have been me if I was playing the actual event. But that was a whole thing. And we don't have enough data yet to know what the actual shiny rate was from the encounters, but it seemed very fucking low because
I got one on my first encounter and I was like, what? Sweet, I'm definitely gonna get another one.
Of course you did, Adam. Of course you did. Of course.
I want to say I did like 12 or 13 tasks.
Wow.
And the other ones I had to wait, like I was at work and it was like, walk 1 kilometer with your buddy. So I literally had to like run back and forth while working.
You should have just did like the jerk off motion, like.
Listen, I was doing that in the car. I was like drumming the steering wheel.
Shake weight.
And no, right? Perfect. Seriously, and, like people behind, like next to me were like, "What is this guy doing?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm listening to some really rockin' music." And there's no like bass or anything. Like I have my music all the way down because I'm like hard focusing.
Yeah. You got hard focus.
Like if people don't know what you're doing, if you yell like, "I'm just hatching eggs, bro," I mean, like they'll probably just leave.
Well, I mean, it was freezing cold.
All right, and then finally, Shiny Feebas is now available in the wild. There was some. I'll put a link in the description, but there was someone that posted that on Reddit, and you can also there was someone that hatched it from the 7K pool as a shiny. So it seems like this is a full. It's out there now for the masses. There's other ways to get it, so that's the thing. Now, typically, you have the YouTubers that are champions of the brand, right? They're always going to have this air of positivity, this kind of, silver lining perspective on pretty much everything. And I appreciate that about them. But with this event, both Mystic Seven's videos, Trainer Tips has a video, right? So he puts this video out, and the title of the video is Worst Event in Pokemon Go History? ? Why the Shiny Feebas event failed in Pokemon Go. So he's putting it out there, saying like, once you read the description, he's like, hey, I like the event. I enjoyed it, but I understand why other people don't. So this was clearly not received well. Now, I want to hear, I know Melissa said she didn't play. I was stuck at work. Adam, Chris, how much did you guys play? How many quests did you turn over? And do you feel the effort was worth the return? Because that's the typical vibe I'm getting, is that people were saying that they were working super, super hard and grinding hard as hell, and at the end of the day, they were left with shit. Like, how do you guys feel about it?
All right, okay. So I went out. I didn't mean to actually go out. I was only going for like an hour, and my wife and I ended up going out for all 3.
Hell yeah!
Because once you're out, you can't go back. Like, whatever. So we're out there like grinding all these quests and stuff like that, having a really hard time because we didn't know what these were going to be prior to that. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's cold as hell where I'm at. It was like 20 degrees. We had just gotten like 8 inches of snow. It was really windy. There was drifts everywhere. It was the worse. So I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. We'll just hop in the car. We'll stay in the car. We'll do that. But if you look at these things, the only ones that are really conducive to car play, which I really don't like in the first place, but if it's what you got to do, it's what you got to do. But if, earn 1 buddy candy and hatch 1 egg, except that distance tracking while driving is like a lot worse now than it used to be. Yep. So it's not even that effective. So you want to instinctively get out and walk around, but there's snow drifts everywhere. But, we're committed. So that's what we did.
No,
walked around a couple of times.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the make 10 great throws, make 15 nice throws. Not conducive for car playing either. We're like, we'll get 3, we'll pull over, we'll clear out the tasks, we'll get another 3, pull over, rinse and repeat. Can't do that with these. It just doesn't work. They're not designed for that. That being said, Ness, my wife, did like 23 tasks. She got 0. I did 20 and I got 3.
Wow.
So I gave her 1. I mean, I had really great luck. I got 3 shinies, 2 and then 2 regular 100% Feebas. So like I walked away really doing well, but at the same time I almost lost my hands getting out and walking around and trying to go to some ranks and stuff like that. I mean, it was, I don't know. I think this is a cool event with some minor tweaks, making the tasks more accessible, especially for kids. I mean, if kids are out playing, they're going to have a hell of a time making 10 great throws. 15 nice throws, it'll take them all day, some of these kids.
Shit,
you know
I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to do it all day. I wouldn't. I was stuck on that shit for like fucking 3 weeks with the...
It's like, where's Melissa going? She's working on the Earn a Buddy candy. Like, she gave up on catching.
I mean, it's a cool idea, and it's, I think, to quote Ken from last episode, but it's like, it's a great way to make something out of nothing, right? And so I would like to see this instead of like, okay, well, it's a new month, so you know what that means. You guys get a couple more extra shinies. Aren't you happy? I mean, like, having an event is like way cooler. It helps herald that in. But if it's going to be this tough, longer than 3 hours, or make it easier.
Yeah, this should have been both days for the weekend. Right. Make it like the Feebas weekend where, yes, it's the 3 hour window, but for both those times.
Right, exactly.
And then release it worldwide after the first day. So that way, here you can hatch them, you can catch them, but you give those opportunities twice. Right. Instead of me having to be like, oh, I'm going to be late for work, which happened.
So Adam, how did it go for you?
I had planned to be out for the 3 hours. Miscommunication on my part at work, so I had to go into work at like immediately. 2:00 it started. I was out. I was ready to go. I had just spun the first stop and then get a phone call.
Where are you at?
Yeah. So I was like, I'll be there in an hour. So I basically had an hour to play, and I basically slow rolled it through town. And I realized that the hatch an egg wasn't going to happen, so I kept getting rid of those. And every single stop pretty much was earn a buddy candy. And I'm just like,
yeah,
this is insane. You know, so every time I saw the catch 15 nice throws or whatever, I was like, that's the one I want. And I kept hatching those like while driving. I had to buy an incense. I was like, I'm not seeing any spawns. This is ridiculous. So I abused that incense and was able to catch all 3 tasks. But my first task was a shiny Feebas, like I said, and then the other ones were subpar.
But how many tasks total? Estimate.
13, 14.
All right, so now...
Not very many. I did catch a shiny Rosalia in the middle of all of it.
Of course.
You know what?
I was like, this couldn't have been the
Taylor. Shiny magnet. It
full odds. Me. That's hilarious.
I caught a shiny Poochyena when I was raiding Groudon yesterday.
Oh man!
So and that was like totally out of the blue too. Now I'm not even sure if those odds are full because it is a Gen 3 Pokemon. So I'm not sure if they tweaked Hoenn Pokemon's shiny rate for the event. Maybe, I don't know, because it does seem like I'm seeing a lot of that. But yeah, that was a nice little bonus. But getting back to this event, my final thought on it, and again, coming from someone that didn't play, it seems like a 3-hour window, even if you go out and break your ass, right? If you get one shiny, that's a solid, awesome, fantastic day, worth it. Now, I think of Kyogre being in raids, or Ho-Oh, or Lugia, where there's a shiny opportunity and you have a weekend or a week, and you have that whole length of time, and you don't get your shiny, it feels a little bit more warranted because you had a whole week to try. And with something like this, it's so in and out that it's difficult. It really gives you that fear of missing out and that anxiety feeling that's going to make the time during the event window less pleasurable, and the overall experience when it cuts to the end of the event, you're like, what do I have to show for this? Some regular Feebas? The not exciting Pokemon at all? You know what I mean? Like, you've got nothing to show for it. So I'm torn here.
You got all those candies to evolve to
Milo.
But you have to walk 10 kilometers with it anyway.
That is the shitty part.
20. You gotta walk 20.
Oh, 20?
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's worse, man.
That's some bullshit. That's why I only have one.
All right, let me look again.
Let us know how you guys felt about this event.
3.4
The people in our Discord were not happy with the event. And a lot of people on our Discord from the Northeast, and they were crushed by snow. So they had like, a shitty time in general just because they were getting snowed out. And I think Pidgey Grabba even said that like those guys, he's from Ohio, I believe, and he got crushed with snow. And, Jersey J, who lives out in the West Coast now, like they're getting like the weather was definitely not in our favor for this event. But I don't know. I think that even if I was out there breaking my ass for 3 hours, I don't know. I don't know how salty I would be if I didn't come home with something, because it's really just a 3 hour grind. But I get it that they hype it as an event. This is your only chance for a shiny. Come on, and then you end up with nothing. So definitely let us know how you feel. info@luredup.com. Hit us up on social media. Let us be your bitching post. That's when the best truths are going to come out, is when you're letting it all out, because I see both sides of this. I see plenty of people, and of course they're going to be the people that came home with shinies, saying this fucking event was great. This was awesome. But then you have people that went through 100 tasks, and came away with nothing. And they're like, great, what do I have now? I get to transfer, 100 Feebas. That's my joy. So let us know how you feel about that. I don't know. I like Chris was saying, when I talked about it last week, I think this is a cool mechanic. I think that they can definitely take this somewhere. It's better than just saying, hey, shiny Feebas is available now. Like it's something different. But yeah, they got to clean up those tasks. They got to make it a little bit more accessible. It's the only way that this would succeed if they're going to maintain that 3 hour window, is they got to let people turn over the quests higher. Even if they make the rate of Feebas lower, give us more at-bats. Give us more opportunities to get that.
Yeah, like 5 great throws and then 10 nice throws. That would have been more warranted. I can do that.
You could turn those quests over much quicker. You're going to have more opportunities, more encounters, and it's like people that go after encounters specifically, or eggs, looking for 100%. So you have that whole thing on top of the shinies as well. So I don't know. I think it was a cool concept for an event, but I definitely have been amused by reading all the comments on Twitter and Reddit, man. It's been crazy. People did not like this freaking event.
Salty.
Totally salty.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk money real quick. So,
Cha-ching.
Chris, I don't know if it was a couple episodes ago, and I think you guys were talking about dropping money on the game, and was it Kyle that was saying he hasn't spent money, or?
Oh, we've all spent money on the game, let me tell you. But I think Kyle's the one that he does it the most infrequent. I think I buy an Ultra Box at like every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on if it's good or bad.
So that's not bad at all. That's not bad.
I play this game hours a day. This is probably the most value for money I've gotten out of any video game I've ever played.
Me too. I'm with you 100% on that. I mean, when it comes to dollars per hour, I'll pay $60 for a AAA game.
Oh, totally.
And, if it, beat it in 10 hours, put it away, and never touch it again. It's like, I fucking play this game 10 hours every day. So it's like, right. But there were, I have absolutely no problem spending money on the game. And, it's always weird because some people think it's real taboo to talk about spending money on, a free to play game. But, it is what it is. The support of Pokemon Go and what Pokemon Go has done for Niantic has given him this avenue to become a leader in AR technology, and not just a leader in technology, but from a social perspective and spreading this message. The footprint is so big of Pokemon Go that they're just using that as this giant 800 million person stepping stone to push this Niantic real world platform that they've created for AR, which we're going to see start trickling down to tons more devices and a lot more pieces of software, and it's just blowing up. So in this interview with CNBC, and I'll link to it in the description, it's pretty funny because the analysts that are interviewing him even imply in the beginning, when they're talking about the growth, they couldn't believe that there was still growth in Pokemon Go 2018 over 17. And the guy's like, what? He still play that without game? Saying that fucking line, he pretty much said that line, and John Hanke's like, "Yeah, bro, like we saw growth. Like it may not be the same. You're not seeing zombie hordes outside like you did in August of 2016, but people are still playing and they're still spending." So there was a couple of really cool points that were brought up in this interview that I want to talk about here, because I think it's exceptionally important to the future of not just Pokemon Go, but Niantic at large here. So they've received $245 million in this round of funding. And some of the partners that have given them money are super intriguing. So Axiomatic, this is a huge company that is invested heavily in esports. So Chris, I know you have a history with League of Legends, and you understand the scale of where esports can go in terms of marketing and marketability of a product and brand. And I think it's really neat and intriguing to see where and why a company like this would involve themselves with Niantic, because this could open the door potentially to some kind of grander scale of doing things similar to maybe bringing it into the fold of like the TCG or the VGC or Pokemon World Championships. Like, it's very intriguing. It's very, very intriguing. And then the other important one is Samsung Ventures have invested tons and tons of money with Niantic, and Niantic is going to help them on the development of future handsets, actual hardware. So what this tells me is that you could see Niantic AR technology coming by default on Android phones. So where they're using AR Core, now you can potentially have a Niantic pushed software in every Android device, giving the Androids an edge up when it comes to AR. Melissa's fucking doing a dance right now because Adam and I are always busting our chops.
That'd be fucking awesome because, I'm all about that Android.
But that happened, and then he drops the bomb where the guy's pretty much saying, like, well, what's the future with these handsets? And he goes, even though Samsung just gave us money to develop handsets, the future of AR is beyond the handset. It's really about wearables, glasses, something to the effect that's going to be beyond the handset. And monocle. To me, AR monocle? Fuck yeah. No, but to me,
we've got Pikachu dancing.
The Google glasses, like, I am so fucking ready. Like, you know what? Fucking give me a cybernetic implant in my fucking cornea, because nope. Cut me up.
Ken's already going to be a robot.
Too much. I don't think I could. No, I need it separate.
He'll be the test subject
body.
if he gets it.
It's a risky operation, but it's totally worth it. You ever see Grandma's Boy? Anyway, but so finally, this is what he said, and this is a super inspiring quote. So I want to read it out from John Hanke. He was being asked about the future of Niantic. He says, quote, "We continue to be focused on delivering on our mission to bringing people together through experiences that marry advanced technology and the real world. This funding round adds financial and strategic support as we focus on doubling down on that mission with our platform and building upon the popularity we've established in recent years as we grow our portfolio and offerings." So this is like, he's pretty much saying what we're going to be doing with all of our products is the connection of the digital and real worlds. And to me, that's fucking fantastic. That's super cool. And when we get new money, we get new acquisitions. When we get new acquisitions, we get new things in the game. So I'm excited about esports. I'm excited about AR development. I want to know, Chris, do you ever hear from your community when they talk about money in regards to Niantic? Does the community or you guys even think like, oh, Niantic's got plenty of money, like whatever, don't give them money, or like they don't need any more money, or just what's the typical vibe that you see when you have a game like Pokemon Go that's just fucking bringing in a shit ton of money, and then they get $245 million of investing? Like, does that intimidate you? Does that give you hope? Like, how does that make you feel?
If I was a competitor, it would intimidate me. But since I'm pretty much like loving the shit out of this game, I mean, I'm just excited to see their success. Because, I mean, did any of you guys go to the first Go Fest?
No.
2016?
No.
Okay.
We were home.
I did, unfortunately, walked away with like sun poisoning. It was the worst. But like in the following of that, I mean, people were upset. They settled that class action lawsuit. John Hanke was super apologetic. And then the next year, they did right by everybody. You know what I mean? And this game is flourishing because of that. And I think intelligent, brilliant, strategic choices like that deserve some sort of reward. Because on paper, considering what happened in 2016 and a little bit in early 17, this game should not be around anymore. Like, let's be honest with ourselves.
This is
they dodged the bullet.
They had a couple flops.
I'm happy as hell that it's still here, and I'm just happy. I mean, if I'm getting enjoyment out of something, it deserves my money. So I'm happy to hear that it's getting money from other people because I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. It's just that sometimes when it comes to money and spending money on these type of games, there's always like this negative connotation attached to it of, they're money grubbing. They just want your money, and it's like, of course they do. They're a store.
They fucking need your money, bro.
Shit.
You want more shit? You want to do more fun shit? Give them your fucking money. Don't fucking complain about it.
Exactly. Right. But I agree with you. That's exactly what I'm saying. So it's like, I get excited when I hear this stuff. I don't think that such a huge bit of growth to this company could be a threat to the quality of life when it comes to the games.
Hell
right.
no.
And I think this is only going to be positive.
Right.
Exactly.
They're leading an entire subset of mobile gaming. There wasn't other Go games prior to Pokemon Go being the thing, and people were like, oh my god, people will pour money into this. Draconius Go came up.
I played that
number
for a while.
of AR games. Just like Ghostbusters.
Jesus Christ Go.
Yeah. All
Exactly.
Garfield Go.
Follow JC Go, whatever the hell it was.
Hell yeah, I still have it downloaded. I'm still waiting for the Angels vs. Demons DLC. Like, that's what I need.
But it's really great. And I think actually the two pieces of information in this entire interview that I'm most excited about is the funding from Axiomatic and Samsung, because Axiomatic is actually the umbrella company that owns my favorite esports team in a bunch of competitive avenues. Team Liquid, they're out in Counter-Strike, they're out in League of Legends, they're in Dota, they are everywhere. So to see this company invest in Pokemon Go,
Well, that's exciting.
kind of signals to me, yeah, absolutely, that there's growth in the competitive sphere. Like, they see something worthwhile here. Maybe the money is kind of the leading factor, but as somebody that just wants this game to flourish, I don't care if it's just money, because when it gets to us, they know the money's going to drive up if we're all pissed off. That's why 2018 Go Fest was so fantastic, because they made it for us. They could have charged much more than $20 per ticket,
Right.
Yeah.
but they
Absolutely.
didn't.
Absolutely.
They wanted to show us that they could do it right, and so I trust them.
That's good. No, I feel the same way. That's pretty awesome perspective. And on the Gotta Watch 'Em All podcast, Adam and I were just talking about Pokemon Worlds, the regional event, the international championship in Oceania in Australia, is being hosted by the ESL, the Electronic Sports League, that does Overwatch and, CSGO and all that stuff. So even on the grander scale of Pokemon, moving away from Pokemon Go and talking about Pokemon at large, they're partnering with esports companies to host their championship events. So something's a brewing, and I'm all
festering.
for it. I'm super excited about it.
It's festering and brewing, and things are happening and bubbling.
Wait, where did Melissa go? There's a witch here.
It's happening.
She wants
It's
to eat the
happening.
little kids. Come in.
All right, now this next topic I want to talk about is, I definitely want to get Melissa's take on this, because I need
I want Melissa's take
I
on
need
this
an
too.
honest perspective. So we've talked about multi-accounting in the past. Typically, whenever we bring a guest on, I like to have a little bit of a feisty conversation about a topic that could bring people outside of their comfort zone, because there's things in this game that people turn a blind eye to, and there's things in this game that influencers will kind of graze over, but their communities don't. So it's a really interesting perspective of, you can never really know where someone stands on something because they're trying to save face or they're trying to save a sponsorship or something. So check this out. So I'm watching a Zoe Two Dots video. I don't typically watch her videos regularly.
Unless they're the pole dancer ones, right?
Oh my God, I can't.
Those are great videos, Adam. Those are good videos. They're instructional. I'm trying to learn.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
Wait, did I miss something? I'm a big Zoe Two Dots fan. Did she pole dance in an episode? Like, what's going on?
Just
I don't...
Dude,
find
she's
her
a full-blown
Instagram.
fucking
Go on her
pole
Instagram
dancer.
immediately. Pick up your
She
phone.
is really?
Yep.
Dude, she fucking she crushes it.
Yeah, she gets it
Like, she's
off.
awesome. Like, she can fucking hold herself horizontal and shit, do all that crazy shit. Anyway,
Seriously? Oh, you
For
go,
real.
girl. Hell yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. This is the clip in question.
Quick little PSA as well. In this video, you guys are going to see a lot of people with multiple accounts in their hands. No one in the car is multi-accounting. Everyone is like either playing for a family member or a friend who wasn't able to join us today. So, for example, we've got one friend in hospital who can't get out and raid at the moment, so we're helping him out do some raids. Another friend who is a nurse, doing like basically the Lord's work. Shout out to all nurses out there as well. So, understandably, can't take the day off for raids and things like that. So, PSA, no one's multi-accounting. We're just trying to help our mates out who can't make it out for the day. So yeah, if you do multi-account, you do you. I'm not here to ask questions. Don't need to tell me. I don't want to know. Shh, you know the rules. But yeah, just putting it out there.
Okay, so in that clip, what she's pretty much saying is, all the people that I'm rolling with today are going to be on multiple devices. But it's okay because they're not multi-accounting. They're just playing for John Doe that's stuck at the hospital, with a broken leg or something like that. Like, it's a sidestep and a little bit of a dance around of something that, from a political red tape of the Pokemon Go community, may have been necessary if she wanted to keep the footage of her raid party, because people are holding multiple devices. Mm-hmm. She couldn't have not said something, because think back to the Brandon Tan video that Trainer Tips did, and he's got multiple accounts, and we know where that fucking went. But people even gave him shit like, hey, but the multiple account thing, like, what's going on here? We don't really talk about it. And then in a follow-up video, Trainer Tips said, look, hey, it is what it is. I don't condone it. I can't control how other people play the game. This is their way of life, blah, blah, blah. So I want to know, Melissa, particularly, because I know you have no filter. Now, do you think that there's a difference between someone who's got multiple accounts personally? So I own 5 phones. I have 5 Pokemon Go accounts, and I'm out there doing raids by myself and doing all that.
I didn't know
love
Ken had 5 phones, 5 accounts. Oh man.
I love you guys, but you're
no wonder why he gets all those raids.
But what about the person that will say, hey, I've got an EX raid today. Everyone send your friends the invites and I'll do it for you.
I hate all of it.
Okay. So is there, now to you, someone who is in the Pokemon Go content creation space and an influencer yourself, do you think there's a difference between someone running multiple accounts personally and someone playing on multiple accounts temporarily? How does that make you feel?
Oh, God. I mean, as long as she's not doing it, I mean, like, she's addressing it, she's not doing it, you really can't stop people from playing on multiple accounts. Like, you really can't. I think it's stupid. I don't understand it.
What about as a YouTuber? Do you think she did the right thing of putting it out there? Like, I guess she had to disclose something. She had to say something.
She had to.
It was weird that it turned into like a guilt trip. Like, oh, the person's in the hospital.
She's not doing it, but she's addressing that the people in the background are doing it. She's got to protect herself. At least she's doing that. She's being upfront about it. She's not being corny about it. So it is what it is. Like, I don't agree with it. I don't know if she's really being... I didn't see the video.
What if they're her extra accounts,
I gotta see her face.
They're just holding on to
them? Oh, if they're her extra accounts?
Like,
she's got extra
she's
accounts
got an extra
hidden
phone
in her
her back pocket, and she's really playing with 2 accounts, and she's a fucking asshole. But, like, if she legit is only playing with 1 account, and she's just saying, hey, it is what it is, I can't help it, I want to create content for you guys, and these guys are here, and... Yeah.
It's a hard one. I mean, there's plenty of times where even when I'm out raiding, it's like, I'm taking an Instagram picture and it's like, fuck, this person's got like a McDonald's tray with 4 phones laying in it. You know what I mean? Like,
you can't control the way other people play.
Piano.
You can't control the way other people play. And honestly, it's not good etiquette to fucking say to someone like, bro, why are you playing with multiple accounts? Like, you just can't do that. Like, you gotta let people play the way that they want to play, even if you don't agree with it. At least she's addressing it, and she's being real about it, so I gotta give her fucking credit for that shit. Like, as long as she's not doing it, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's multiple people in my like group that have multiple accounts, because it's hard to get enough people together in my area. I would say I'm in rural.
But they're multiple accounts. They're not like someone at an EX raid doing it for a buddy that couldn't make it, or doing it, as a favor for someone. These are people that have multiple accounts, like, hey, John Doe 1, John Doe 2, John Doe 3, whatever. See,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it. I get doing it for a friend who maybe... I don't like that either. I don't like it. Just fucking do it yourself, bro. If you fucking miss it, you miss it.
Yeah, like I have an EX raid on Sunday.
I missed the EX raids.
That's
like, I miss fucking community
day,
bro.
It's 5:30 to 6:15.
Bro, that's my bad.
I normally work until 6. And there's no way for me to get back to Rochester.
You're fucking on Beach Street, bro.
No, exactly. So it's like, but my brother lives right next to the gym. So do I send him and my sister-in-law invites and say, hey, I gave you the invite, take my phone too?
If you want to be a greedy cheater, sure, go for it.
But attack form Deoxys, you've only got so much time to get him, right? So.
Well, there's plenty of things I've missed. And if you think that at some point during game history it's not going to be brought back, you're stupid. So, just suck it up for now, Cupcake, and move on.
All right, move on. All right, Chris, you've been quiet. I want to get your take on this. So, do you think that there's a difference between multi-accounting and doing it for a friend?
So you got to kind of like put it in context, right? The reason I've been so quiet because I was looking up TOS while we were sitting here. So it looks like if you have two different phones, but you have one account and you log into your account on one phone, turn that off and log into your account on another phone, that's not against terms of service. What is against terms of service basically is anything that isn't one device, one account per person active at a time. So that's the black and white of it as far as terms of service is concerned, right? You shouldn't do it either way. Person's in the hospital, that's a bummer. They can't make a raid. They miss a community day. That being said, terms of service is kind of a gray area, right? I mean, I don't know. As long as you're not going to get caught. I mean, do I think it's crap for the health of the game? Actually, I'm not even sure if that's necessarily true.
That's what I mean.
Multiple accounts for one person.
Right.
But if I took somebody's phone with me and it was one phone, one account, one phone, one account, and I did it for a one-off and stuff like that, I'm more likely to understand that from a human perspective.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. If I actually had the other person's phone and their account and they're logged into their shit and I'm literally just standing there holding it for them because there's something physically going on that they cannot be there, that's one thing. But just to be a fucking greedy douchebag, I agree with you, Chris.
But look, I also think of it like this. Think about, as a parent, you have a young kid playing a video game at home. Oh, I can't beat this part. Here, can you take the controller? Can you do this for me? There's never really been a game where doing something for someone has been thought of as a negative act. There's been plenty of times I can't beat this boss. Give me the controller, I'll do it for you. Or I can't beat this level of fucking Candy Crush. Give it to me, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. But that's not what this is.
That's what I'm saying.
Different.
I mean, people don't necessarily think about it as negative. It's kind of like what we're navigating right now. It's negative insofar as it's against terms of service, but it's not necessarily negative if it's an understandable situation. People are like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're helping out your buddy who broke his leg and can't get out today. And, when are you going to see a shiny Cyndaquil again?
Right.
There's a difference between doing it for a community aspect and doing it for a selfish aspect. That's where the line is
intent,
drawn.
man.
Well, the intent.
This is like a court of law.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
No, but that's exactly it.
POKéMON right now, guys.
That's definitely it, because it really is all about intent. Because we've talked about spoofing is fucking victimless, or scrubbing gyms and taking out gyms just so you can fill it in with your Pokemon. It's victimless. It's not now. But when you talk about something like this, I mean, it really is it's so close, but it's clearly something that as a content creator or someone covering it in the media, the people covering it still need to have a disclaimer there, because clearly there's it's a thick ass gray area, but I give props to Zoe for calling it out and mentioning it. And she even brings it up at the end of the video again.
She's got to protect herself. She's got a big persona.
She's got to. Right. That's what I mean.
You got to give her credit for that. She's acknowledged it and protected herself. And
it's not like fucking Jono Plays is doing a video going, hey, there's fucking multiple accounts.
Please. Fucking Jono, bro.
And it's because I only play with people that multi-account.
Send me your coordinates.
Oh my god, no. So somebody at my work, she comes over, she's like, oh, I'm in New York right now, I'm doing a raid. And I'm like, you're in New Hampshire.
She goes like,
and she's got the little dialogue, or whatever the D-pad is. I'm like, are you serious?
That's where you should have fucking either done a jump kick and kick the phone straight to the fucking ceiling.
Her fucking phone out of her hand. Yeah.
No, that's where I'm like, okay, so if the game, if you lost your account, you couldn't play anymore.
Oh, let me see your phone real quick. Delete.
You should have held up your phone and just started dialing something. Yeah. What are you doing?
Niantic police.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. Even if you delete, because it's Pokemon Go's there, but then there's another app, and then you go in through that to go to the Pokemon. So it's just, even if I tried, it's in a different spot.
All right, but it's a good topic.
Pokemon
Again,
Go.
info@luredup.com. Let us know what you think about that. And all right, one more thing before we get into our battle party. I'll move quick through this. Let's jump into a quick PvP update. This PvP update is brought to you by the New Jersey Silph Arena, Jersey's premier accredited Silph Arena League. Visit njsilpharena.com for more info.
Once you step in the arena, cheetah, you're gonna be a...
This is going to be coming from PokemonGoHub.net. A fantastic article taking a look specifically at Dragon-type Pokemon in the PvP meta. And the way they laid this article out is pretty fantastic because it breaks out the best dragon attackers by league. So whether you're looking for a 1500, 2500, or open CP Pokemon, it kind of tells you where to go. Now, I don't want to get into the details of moves or anything. I just want to run through the best attackers because with more themed events coming like the Boulder Cup that we just saw with the Silph Arena, where you have to bring ground, rock, fighting, steel, there's going to be times where you're going to need to pull these dragon Pokemon out. So it's important to know who will perform and who won't. So in the Great League, and I fucking love this, the top dragon Pokemon is Alolan Exeggutor, which is fantastic with Dragon Tail and Dragon Pulse with Seed Bomb. So good. Absolutely
So
awesome.
awesome.
I know.
Hell yes. Oh my god.
So
Who
it's
doesn't
so funny.
love this Pokemon?
I know, he's so
What you're going
good.
to notice on this chart that I linked to is there's a whole sub-meta. This is how fucking meta this is, that it's meta within the meta. When it comes down to, like, we could just say, okay, Alolan Exeggutor is the best dragon attacker in the Great League, and the buck would stop there. But if you want to maximize that Alolan Exeggutor, you're going to want one that's going to reach close to 1500 CP at level 17. So how the hell does that work? That means that you're going to have a certain IV spread that will allow you to level up that Pokemon to level 17 right before 1500 CP. That's what I don't want to get into today. That's a whole conversation for another day because that's some deep ass PvP meta shit. I don't even want to go there yet. But there's plenty of Pokemon that I saw. I hosted a Boulder Cup today. I mean, there was people that were bringing, the Pokemon that had like a attack IV of 2, 3, 4, because since CP is so heavily weighted on the attack IV, if you have a lower attack IV, you can level that Pokemon up higher and keep its CP under the cap. So there's all these sub-strategies going on in PvP of how to maximize that stuff. So we'll talk about that at a later date.
As I'm sitting here just deleting every single
Yeah,
Pokemon bad IVs.
for gyms and raids, you want the best IVs because the CP doesn't matter. But with PvP, with that controlled CP cap, there's a way to maximize that and run the most efficient party. You're going to want a specific IV spread, and that typically is going to mean shitty attack stat. And, because that's where the majority of the weight comes from CP calculations in that formula. Anyway, Great League, Alolan Exeggutor, number 1, Dragonair. Now, we always talk about how important it is for diversity on this show. So check out how diverse this lineup is. Alolan Exeggutor, Dragonair, Kingdra. I've never used fucking Kingdra in a raid or a gym. Never. Kingdra. Altaria, who's fantastic in the Great League right out of the gate, not just as a dragon attacker, but overall. And Flygon, one of Melissa's favorites to use in the Great League. So you have Alolan Exeggutor, Dragonair, Kingdra, Altaria, Flygon. Great mix. Ultra League. Alolan Exeggutor, still number 1. How fucking awesome is that? Now at level 29. Number 1. Kingdra is still in there. Latios. When was the last time Latios had any purpose at all besides filling a fucking deck spot? That's in there. Rayquaza starts to come in, and Giratina. Now we're going to jump to the Master League. Now you have the big dogs. Dragonite, top of the list. Number 2, Alolan Exeggutor. Latios, Rayquaza, Giratina again. Moral of the story.
All the way through.
Don't count out the underdogs when it comes to typing. Because PvP relies so heavily on move type and the way that the spreads work, it's important to look deeper than just saying you can't just fall into the usual suspects. Like when you go to a gym and you see gym defenders, you're going to see the same shit every time. When you go to a raid and you have a raid, the parties that you're going to use to raid are going to be the same every time. You can't follow that with PvP anymore. Everything has changed. Like, I would have never thought, looking into this, that Alolan Exeggutor would be the top attacker as a dragon type in Great and Ultra and number 2 in Master. I would have never, ever, ever thought that.
Yeah, I just thought Dragonite was the best.
Me too. And even when it comes down to, like, Flygon or something like that, like, learning how these things break out per league by CP is exceptionally interesting. But I just wanted to bring this up because this is just a really unique look at how you have to have a complete paradigm shift when it comes to PvP. All right. Some miscellaneous stuff. We talked about the egg pool being too big. That's total bullshit. There's a crazy glitch going on right now. And there's video proof of this. And I'll link to it in the description. Someone found an exploit where if you're logged into multiple devices at the same time and you have an EX raid pass and you have the option to now invite someone to that EX raid, right? If you're logged into 5 phones at the same time, you can send that EX raid invite to 5 people if you hit send at the same time.
Melissa, we need a response. How do you feel about that? The same account logged into 5 different devices at the same time.
That's fucked up.
But the people were able to receive the EX raid on the other side and it had it in their inventory. So it's a full-blown bug. Like, it's a full-blown bug. Like, it's in the game.
That's awesome for the people that got it, but...
And it's funny in the Reddit account, people are like responding like, why would you do this? And they were like, oh, we did it for science. And it's like, motherfucker, you know, you
did it because to hook your fucking friends up, bro. And that's what a good fucking friend does,
again,
bro. He hooks his fucking boys up.
Again, the positive vibe, like, it's just, man, is it that bad that you got to resort to like breaking the game like this and doing shit like this? It's so bizarre. So bizarre. But
I'd take it.
Of course you would. All right, and really quick before we get into the battle party, let's just check in with Go Ranger.
What's up, everybody? It is Go Ranger Matt, and this is the Go Ranger Check-In.
All right, this Wednesday, January 23rd, Nest Migration number 76. Chris, in your area, people use the Silph Nest Atlas at all?
Sparingly. I think I check it more than anybody else does in this area.
Yeah, it has fallen off hardcore in my area, but we have some core reporters still. So I always, whenever there's a Nest Migration, I always bring it up because I think tools like the Silph Road Nest Atlas are exceptionally important to community building. So get signed up with the Silph Road, report your nests, everyone. It happens next Wednesday, January 23rd. We've got Shiny Taillow, Zigzagoon, Shiny Groudon, Kyogre. You've got your Evolved Breloom, all this stuff happening for the next 8 days from the time of this recording. You still have 40 days or so on that Make 5 Great Curve wall throws for Spinda number 5, that pain in the ass.
I still haven't seen that one.
Man.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Wow.
I'm dying.
Fucking Spinda. Stupid Spinda.
The last Spinda, I got the quest on the last day it was available, so I feel your pain on that. And then the quests that help you with completing your Meltan special research, same thing, till the end of February, so you got plenty of time on that. Boulder Cups are going to be running through the end of the month, so if you want to take advantage in competitive play through the Silph Arena, you want to do the Boulder Cup. This is going to be the event that's going to weight the greatest for your player rank, so it's very important to take part in the Boulder Cup. Shout to Clash and Cliff in our Discord, won his Boulder Cup in his area. That's freaking awesome.
Woo!
And
congrats.
Awesome.
Like I said, January and February research, all that stuff that were associated with that goes through the end of February. All right, it's time for a battle party, guys.
It's time for a what?
A what?
All right.
Chris, are you going to try it with us?
Why would I even show up if I wasn't going to try?
Okay, because you fail every time.
What have you been waiting for?
All right, guys, it's time for a battle party.
Ooh,
battle party.
I feel complete, like I just went through a pilgrimage.
Yes, that's so awesome.
They just get better every time.
You have been christened, sir.
It's like a nice wine. It gets
All right,
better
so I
with
want to
age.
talk about Shiftry. This is a new tier 4 raid boss. Shiftry is kind of one of these Pokemon that it's a little bit unexpected.
Yeah, it's Shiftry.
Because it looks so freaking awesome, and it's just not a Pokemon you see a lot. You don't really see these in the wild.
Unless you're at GoFest.
Unless you're at GoFest, yeah. But, so whenever we talk about soloable tier 4 bosses, it's always exciting because that's a significant accomplishment if you're into that thing. I tried a solo T-Tar in Cloudy the other day. It had Stone Edge, so I got my ass kicked. So I'm still trying to have my party built. I'm still trying for that. But anyway, this is a tier 4 raid boss, 21,713 CP. It's a grass and dark Pokemon, so it will be boosted in Sunny and Fog. It's 2 times weak to Bug. I can stop talking there because when it comes to a solo raid party, you're going to want to bring whatever's the most effective. you're going to want to bring bugs. But it's also weak to fairy, fighting, fire, flying, ice, and poison. A lot of diversity here, so you can run a diverse party if you wanted, but the more diversity you add to your party, the more difficult it's going to be to solo this thing. So as a solo, the best counters are going to be Scizor. Now, Chris, I know this Pokemon is very important to you, right?
Oh yeah,
I always hear you talking about
my favorite Pokemon, dude.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It was like it was so funny when I was putting this together. I was like, "Oh shit, this is Chris." I'm pretty sure this is like. Haven't you had him as your?
Yeah, it was like 348 kilometers until I maxed him out, and then had to retire him. You know what I mean?
That's what Adam is trying to do with his Delibird. He's just going to walk it for all of eternity.
I had to change it for 1K Buddy, which I'm still upset about.
Yeah, but it'll retain. It retains its distance. Doesn't start back at 0.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Keep racking it up, man.
I'm so excited.
He's smiling. Look at the big ass smile.
Yeah, because then I just switched it to the shiny Feebas to walk that.
Yeah, no. When you go back to your Delibird, it'll retain its distance, so that's good.
Yeah, once you go Delibird, you never go back.
Scizor, Fury Cutter, X Scissor, Pinsir with Bug Bite, X Scissor, Moltres, if you want to throw some fire in there. Fire Flying will actually have a little bit of an advantage. Fire Spin, Sky Attack. Scyther with Fury Cutter, Bug Buzz, Heracross, which I don't have, Struggle, Bug, and Megahorn. And listen to how shitty Shiftry's defense is. You can actually use Ninjask. Yes, actually use Ninjask as a raid counter here. But when it comes to a solo party, I know I'm fucking boring, but I'm bringing 4 Scizor, because that's all I have, and 2 Pinsir. That's what I'm bringing. I'm pretty confident I can solo this thing. But Melissa, what do you got here?
I have a shiny Pinsir and a regular Pinsir and a Scizor. That's the way I say it. And 2 Moltres. And of course, I'm bringing my Snorlax.
Of course you're bringing Snorlax. How could you not?
Why wouldn't I not?
Adam, what do you got?
So I didn't read it, and I didn't realize that it was a solo raid guide until we started talking about it. So I just looked. I have a couple Scizors that are 98%, so I'm going to power those up and use them. But what I have here is my 100% crew. I have Ariados, Dustox, Venomoth, Cloyster, Pidgeot, and Swalot.
All right. Well, but I'd be very intrigued because you power up all your 100s, right?
Yes, those are all 100%. Well, they're all. Yes,
maxed
those are all
100%.
100% maxed out.
Do me a favor, man. I'm telling you, if you see a Shiftry raid, please try this because I'm interested. Only because they're all the way powered up and they're 100%. You might be able to pull this off if you have,
the correct moves.
The correct moves, and if you do it like in the rain where bug moves are, maybe you could do this with this party. But that'd be interesting to see. And Chris, what do you got here? Let me guess, Scizor.
Yeah, he's my number 1 guy. Scizor for sure, leading the pack. He's the only maxed out thing I got on my team. Actually, I got 2 maxed out things on my team. So Scizor, Pinsir, because you got to take every opportunity you can to bust out Pinsir. I mean,
bugs in general,
Yeah.
I think are definitely cool Pokemon.
They never get their time, so when they do, celebrate those guys.
Yep.
So yeah, Scizor, Pinsir, Moltres, because that's an easy one to throw in there. My maxed out Roserade that I got going on, just because need an opportunity to bust him out as well. And Entei, and Heatran, because
there you go.
Heatran needs some love, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, we're big fans
Why
of the
not?
diversity here, so that's awesome. And looking at all of our parties, I mean, of course, we've got the Scizor and the Pinsirs, but we do have some diversity here. I mean, of course, Melissa brought Snorlax. You got Swalot, Adam's bringing, and Heatran. Very cool to see the diversity in it. I think we might be able to pull this off. I mean, I'm pretty confident with mine because I just took the easy way out, but, Melissa will probably have just as much fun if she brought 6 Snorlax and let the time run out with 20% damage done. She still wouldn't care probably.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'd be very happy.
Just let me see the bouncing Snorlax.
Yes.
So
6
awesome.
times over.
All right, everyone. That is pretty much going to wrap up this week's show. Chris, thank you so incredibly much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. You've been great.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast.
That's
I'd
awesome.
love to be back sometime.
Absolutely.
We enjoyed
And
having you.
and definitely when GoFest comes back around, we got to definitely do something and hook up and hit some raids when we come to Chicago.
Please, let's do it. That sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Thank you guys,
Yes.
everyone. Check out luredup.com for everything that we're doing email us, info@luredup.com. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/GottaWatchEmAll, and leave us a review on iTunes. We would appreciate it. Chris, plug away. Please let us know where they can find your show.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say you definitely should support these guys on Patreon. I dig their Discord. I am one of their patrons, and I'm in their Discord, so I can personally vouch for how wonderful it is. Besides that, we've got our own...
Thank you.
You got it. Besides that, we've got our own website, gocastpodcast.com. We've got a Patreon page, patreon.com/gocastpodcast. If you want some more Pokemon Go content, we do that. So that's pretty much it. We also cover news and stuff like that. So it's kind of more the same, except not really at all. And you have to listen to an episode to know what I mean.
Different personalities.
Right. We all talk about different things. So again, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Definitely give our best to Ness and Kyle, definitely. And
absolutely.
Yeah, we like I said, man, I really, really dig this show. It's sorry Nar, sorry, but GoCast Podcast is definitely my favorite Pokemon Go podcast out there.
Hey,
wait, you don't like ours?
You guys are the only Pokemon Go podcast that I support on Patreon. So
that's right.
Shots fired.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys so very much, and we'll see everyone next week. Take care. Bye bye.